Hello everybody. So today we'll be discussing about matter. Matter is all around us, even you are made of matter. Matter can be weighed and also it has volume or mass. Matter is also made out of atoms. Even you are made out of atoms. So atoms is basically what makes up matter, or else anything around us wouldn't probably exist without them, and they're one of the smallest things in this whole universe. So yeah, that's about it. Now I want to be discussing about chemical change and physical change, which are just pretty simple topics, so this won't take too long to explain. In fact, they're quite simple. So yeah, so let's talk about physical change. Physical change is basically the looks of it, not the actual property of it. Like, it doesn't change the whole thing, it just changed the look. For example, if you rip a leaf apart, it's still a leaf, it won't change anything about it. It's still called a leaf, spelled a leaf, and it is a leaf. So that's pretty much the physical property. Now we're gonna head on to the chemical property, and no worries, it isn't hard at all. So basically it will change like the whole substance of it. Well, if it sounds confusing, let me explain. So for example, you take a paper and you just burn it. So it will suddenly change the whole thing of it. It's not a paper anymore, it's suddenly ashes. So yeah, that's basically about it. Chemical change basically changes, like, chemical, but physical, it's pretty self-explanatory. Physical, like, it will just change the look. Another examples of chemical change is also rusting, which is like basically with metals and stuff. So yeah, I hope you understand that. Now we're gonna be talking about changes in matter. So it's pretty easy, I guess. So first of all, we have solids to liquids. That is called, I think that's called fusion. Yeah, fusion. Next is, I think, liquid to gas. It is called vaporization, and it's usually occurs when heating it. Like for example, you're cooking rice and you see the water in there, and it starts to get heat up and stuff. You can feel the gas rising up and stuff. So yeah, that's one example as well. And next we have, I think next is condensation, which is the process of with like water particles were turned into liquid again. It's basically occurs like when it starts to rise up, and like when you see the lid, that's an example of condensation. When you open the lid, you will suddenly see water droplets, and that's because of the hot steam inside the rice cooker, and you will see it up there, go up there, and then you can feel it on the lid. So that's one example of condensation. Next is liquid to solid, which is called solidification. It's pretty self-explanatory, and it can usually happen when freezing something, like water to ice, or basically anything around that. As long as it's turning into a solid and it used to be a liquid, that's called solidification. So yeah, those are the changes in matter.
Evaporation.
Oh, evaporation. Evaporization is when the liquid turns into gas.
Evaporates.
Oh, it will start to evaporate, I mean.
Like cooking, there's water, right?
Oh yeah. So an example of that is, for example, you have wet clothes, right? Then suddenly, all of a sudden, it's quite dry now, and that's when it evaporated. Basically, it started to dry off because the water decided to turn. It was decided to like go up into the sky, and that's another part that will turn into rain. But that's for the water cycle. And another example is a puddle on the ground. When it suddenly starts to disappear, it's usually because it started to evaporate and the molecules go up into the sky. So yeah, that's about it. And that's quite about matter, I guess.
Water cycle.
Oh, and about the water cycle, which I think it's kind of related to matter, and it's usually like it's related to water. So let me explain it. So it starts off with a lake, and then suddenly the water and some of the water in the lake will start to evaporate and form a rain cloud. Then the rain cloud is suddenly gonna get bigger and bigger once it consumes more evaporated water. Then it will start to grow bigger and bigger, and then suddenly condensation appears, like suddenly the water is getting ready to come down to earth. Next is precipitation, and it's when rain starts to come. And I'm pretty sure it's quite a simple steps. First, it's evaporation, condensation, then precipitation. It's when the water droplets finally get to meet earth, and that's when the cycle continues. Once precipitation's done, you will have the lake will be full again, then it will start to evaporate, condensation, precipitation. Yeah, it's basically a loop, I guess. Yeah. I kind of remember some piano. It's kind of confusing though. I only know like 2 songs or something. Like, oi. Yeah, that's about it. That's the only 2 songs I know. So yeah.
Happy birthday.
I don't know Happy Birthday. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's all I know, I guess. I can't find anymore. So yeah. I kind of know some piano, but it's kind of confusing since I don't practice much of it. Goodbye, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this topic and matter.